All right, wait, hold on. Okay, listen, I know the anime pictures talking about the anime. All right, listen, I know. Just hear me out here. Hear me out. Anime is cringe. I've never been the biggest fan of anime. I've always liked the art style, but I always scorned the idea of just watching it. Maybe it's because since as long as I can remember, this stereotype of an anime profile picture being some dorky 14-year-old gamer was engraved in my mind, but even though that stereotype is more of a meme than anything nowadays, it still comes to my mind whenever I think about it. Listen, I understand. I was an edgy 16-year-old too, making fun of people and caring about what picture they use on the internet, especially during things like the peak of Filthy Frank when he made videos making fun of those people. So you may be thinking to yourself, why does this matter? And I'm telling you this because when I say that I actually enjoyed an anime, it should hold more weight than Oni-chan, Owo Lover, Epic Win XD saying it or some shit. With that said, my name is Zenith, and today I'm going to tell you how a picture from a music promotion channel became my favorite show of all time. Released by JC Staff in 2012, The Pet Girl of Sakurasou is based off the manga with the same name. And although the show, yes, I'm saying show because I just hate the word anime. Although the show can sometimes be a little weird, episode 7, you could just skip that one. Listen, we could just, don't talk about that. Although it never gets to the point of porn, I want to tell you right off the bat that those weird little ecchi moments aren't why I love this show so much. All right, so we good? We good? All right, we good? You understand now? You get it? The show stars Kanda Sarada, who's not very sure on what he wants to do with his life. After breaking the no pets policy in his school, he's forced to live in the building known as Sakura Hall, aka Sakurasou. The kind of island of misfits, but, you know, it's anime. Sarada, like every self-conscious teenage boy, hates the fact that he has to live with these weirdos, and his main goal is to find owners for the cats and then, I don't know, get some fucking anime pussy, I don't fucking... But one fateful day, the supervisor of the building tells Sarada that he needs to pick up her cousin coming in from England to live in Sakurasou. Reluctantly, he goes to pick her up, but little does he know that this person will end up changing his life forever.
What the fuck? Why am I in this? Why am I in this? Why am I in...
Sakurasou's characters are some of the most dynamic, personality-filled, real people I've ever seen in anime. There's characters like Misaki Kamigusa, who's fucking crazy. She is an extremely talented animator, having animations that go extremely viral and even are professionally produced. Always having a perky, over-the-top attitude, Misaki is a sort of comedy relief of the group. But she still faces her own struggles, as her and Jin seem to have a complicated relationship. Jin is who I'd call the Chad of the group, having upwards of 4 girlfriends at one time, just, you know, cause he can. Although he gets any girl he wants and lives with Misaki, for some reason he won't pay any attention to her, even though Misaki does everything she can just to get him to look at her. Akasaka's the elite hacker of the group, doing everything, you know, a hacker does, like sit in his room and watch porn. There's honestly not really much to say about the guy. Most of what he does in the beginning revolves around his own AI assistant, Maid-chan. But even though he's one of the characters we know the least about, he's probably the most relatable one in the group, because he has no friends and he hates women. Oh my god. Iwama is the first love interest that you see, obviously having the hoots for Sarada while he's too dumb to realize it. Her dream is to become a voice actor, but since her parents don't support it, she has to work multiple jobs to be able to just sustain herself. And then there's Sheena, who is by all means just perfect. She's one of the most famous artists of all time, she can learn extremely quickly, and she even published a manga on her second try. But there is one issue about her. She doesn't know how to take care of herself. Most of Sakurasou's entire plot revolves around Sarada taking care of Sheena and the whole love interest thing that comes out of it. But with Sheena being so good at what she does, it kind of starts to take a toll on the people around her. Hell, it even seems like Sheena has no friends because of how good she is. When I said that I love the art style of anime, I think I kind of exaggerated there. That older, you know, cheaper Pokemon Evangelion-esque art style for some reason doesn't really appeal to me that much. And although I love animes like EVA for separate reasons, I think we can all agree that the animation isn't the greatest thing in the world. On the contrary, Sakurasou's art style is absolutely stunning. I love pretty much everything about it, from the bright, saturated colors in the morning to the dark, gloomy colors during the night. The art style just adds so much more to what would be kind of blank scenes without it. It really seems like JC Staff had a lot of fun when creating this anime, with so many varying art styles, colorful scenes, photorealism. Hell, episode 7, the one I told you to skip before, although it has one scene that's really on the line of... it has some extremely creative art styles throughout the entire episode. And you can see that the artists were having a fucking blast when they were making these. I love everything about how Sakurasou looks, from the bright colors to the impressive shading to the typical thin line style that anime normally has. I wouldn't want it to be animated in any other way. And this more modern take of animation really adds a lot more character than you'd get in other animes. This art style really complements the lighter tone most of Sakurasou has, pretty much inviting you into its world from the get-go. but it also has the room to show detail and emotion when things end up becoming more serious. Sakurasou's soundtrack isn't what I consider groundbreaking. I don't think it will ever win an Emmy, but the music that's used ends up adding to the overall setting of Sakurasou, adding more life into scenes that would just be okay without it. From the dog days of summer to Christmas Eve, Sakurasou's music never fails to impress at how well it sets the mood, focusing on aspects that would normally just be pointless. Although I never really listened to OSTs that much, something about Sakurasou's feels different to me. I can listen to these songs, be it happy or sad, at seemingly any time and end up enjoying it. Maybe it's just my bias showing because, I love this show, but there's only a select few things that I can actually do that with. It always features a soft piano or a light guitar, not really screaming at you to get you to enjoy it. It's just those chill, laid-back pieces that really get you immersed in its world. But the best part about the music is how it conveys raw emotion. From happy, chipper, jumpy tunes that normally go on during some sort of exposition, to chill, laid-back pieces when the gang is just hanging out, to sad, depressing ballads that only play when it feels like the characters have hit rock bottom. Probably the biggest topic in Sakurasou is the feeling of not being good enough. We see the story through the eyes of Sarada, who in his eyes sees everybody else around him doing incredible things. Masaki has her anime, Jin has the ability to get anybody he wants, Aoyama's an extremely hard worker, and Sheena publishes a manga in her second try. Well, he's just confused. But the further you go, the more you realize that every character feels it in some way. It's shown in ways like Aoyama, who works herself to her limit to just try and make it, and fails. Or the story between Misaki and Jin, who both don't feel good enough for each other. There's characters like Rita who come in, jealous of Sheena's skill as an artist, not being able to stand the fact that she doesn't live up to her expectations. Or Sarada, who spends pretty much every day working on becoming a game designer, spending so much time and effort on his pitch, working with one of the best game developers in the country, and doesn't make it. Hell, Sheena in some way becomes the involuntary villain to Sarada and Aoyama, being an immediate success and held by everyone with seemingly little work. While it seems like these two just can't catch a fucking break. Throughout the entire show, it keeps harping on the point that hard work pays off. But unlike any other anime with some sort of sappy ending, it doesn't. Sarada loses his chance, Aoyama gets rejected. All that hard work leads to nothing. And the episode titled, "It's Not Anybody's Fault That It Rains," is one of the saddest and most hopeless episodes in any show I've ever seen. One of the greatest quotes of all time goes like this: "If you feel like the dumbest person in the room, you're probably in the right room." But it sure as hell doesn't feel like that. No matter how humble you want to be one of the better ones in that room. Or in some cases, the best. You want to be the one that other people look up to. You want to be an inspiration to somebody, and if you don't, then you're lying to yourself. But this pursuit is a never-ending quest. No matter what, there always seems to be someone who somehow, with what seems like by doing less work, ends up being better than you. Characters like Rita are the perfect example of this. Being Sheena's best friend and seeing her accomplish so much is demoralizing. As much as she just wants to see her succeed, there's also this selfish desire to just have her go away, convincing her to move to an entirely different country just so she can go. And that mindset is one of the main reasons that people quit and don't try anymore. And then there comes a sort of resentment to these people that are doing better than you. Just more successful, more skilled, just impossibly better than you. And of course, this is mainly because we love to compare ourselves to others, which is something we shouldn't do in the first place. But it's kind of unavoidable. I still compare myself to some of my favorite creators all the time, but having a sort of resentment towards someone because you feel like they're better than you is one of the most unhealthy things you can do for yourself. Because no matter what, you're gonna end up hating what you used to love. And it makes your overall outlook toxic. When I first watched Sakurasou, there was one song that really stuck with me. It would play whenever there would be a serious moment, be it a character revealing their feelings or someone going through something rough. And that song is the one that you're listening to right now. It's a nice little piano piece that plays a simple melody and not much else. But no matter what, it just always seems to be there. No matter the circumstance, no matter the conflict that goes on, this song always seems to come on to signify comfort and resolution. And that sort of comfort and reliability really harps on the last and arguably most important part of Sakurasou: friendship. The friends in Sakurasou, just like this song, are always there. The song's even called Always Sees. No matter what happens, no matter how stupid you are, how bad at things you may seem, you can always rely on your friends. They don't have to be there physically with you, but you can always rely on them just being there when you need them the most. Although falling in love and this feeling of overwhelming inadequacy are major subjects, Sakurasou also takes the time to build the relationships of these friendships. Be it from watching Jin and Misaki's story play out to seeing the entire gang work together on a school fair project, they always had each other to lean back on. When Sarada fails the first time, the gang pretty much forces him to come out of his room, knowing that just sitting there being depressed won't do anything. So they sneak out to a closed-off area they're not allowed in, and although both Aoyama and Sarada failed on their first try, they end up having a lot higher hopes because their friends are there. It's that feeling of togetherness that a good group of friends can give you that can keep you pushing on, especially when things become rough. But sooner or later, people are going to end up leaving that group of friends. And one day you may not even talk to them anymore. That's reflected in the Sakurasou when the year's about to end, and Sakura Hall is threatened to be closed for good. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you here. I can keep rambling on and on about the story or the meaning behind everything, but I've been spending so long trying to articulate why this show means so much to me, and talking about the characters, art style, music, and the meaning I derive honestly doesn't matter. I can't convince you to like something. I can only explain why I like it. And the main idea that always came back was that Sakurasou made me feel comfortable. I first watched Sakurasou during one of the lowest points of my life, where I felt like I had to have everything figured out while feeling like I had nothing. And that's not to say I have the answers now, but what I do know is that Sakurasou gives me this feeling of comfort that not many things can give. And as cringy as it may sound, this stupid little anime taught me a lot. And it made me feel comfortable in the process. The fight to keep Sakura Hall open throughout the last couple of episodes is the best example of this comfort. Sakura Hall as a building isn't that important. It's a rundown, shitty little building. But the people, the memories, the friendships that come from this building makes it feel kind of like a second home. And that sort of home-esque feeling is what I get whenever I go back to this anime. And I think that's what truly makes it special to me. Sakurasou is the greatest show I've ever had the pleasure of watching. From entertaining me at my lowest points, showing realistic examples of inadequacy, and reflecting the message that life is really hard. And at a time in high school where I didn't even know what major I wanted to pursue, and hell, I still don't know that answer. I guess being able to see other people, no matter how fake, have struggles that actually relate to me was comforting. Again, Sakurasou isn't for everybody. It has a sprinkling of strange scenes that a normal person really just has to struggle through. And the first 20 minutes or so of episode 1 isn't the best at showcasing its actual meaning. But when you get past that, you find a story of a kid lost in a world where everybody seems to have it figured out, loving and caring for the same people who inadvertently make him feel worse, but still forcing himself to grow up and trying his hardest to make something. And just maybe, that hard work may pay off.